So we should all meet in classroom 1A. Okay, never mind. Is there a ghost in here? Hello, ghosts. That fucking noise makes me jump every time. There's nothing. Yeah, I read that in the last episode. Okay, there's literally nothing here, so I'm going out. Okay. Oh, ghosts. Ghosts. I've got a nice, delicious tongue for you. Any dead kids here? There's 2 of them. Which one do we give it to? Oh. This one. This was the one that lost her tongue. And you just straight up lost your head. This girl's missing an eye. And the other one's missing most of her head. Oh, we've got our tongues. Is that gonna be enough? What do we do? Pull out the tongue bags? Yes. I don't question how you're crying without a head. The girls lower their heads, or what's left of it in one case, and begin rocking slowly back and forth as if feeling anxious. Kano Yuki, Tsuji Tokiko. These are for you. They're yours, aren't they? Handed over the 2 bags. Hey, oh, most of her head. Thank you very much. Yes! Rare achievement! Okay. The rare achievement said tongue-tied. That's fucked up. Let's go. 2 more. We did it. We did it, Shinozaki. All 3 of them. Yoshige was talking about the last girl in the re-something, and then she said no, in case anyone didn't catch that. Every time I talk to these ghosts, I feel like I'm getting closer and closer to death myself. Do you have any idea what that's like? I keep picturing how I'll look when I'm dead, and I'm not even trying. Just pops in my head on its own. It's such a horrible image. I want to go home. I just want to go home. Back to my mom. And my sister. And Mochida. Shinozaki.
わかった。次、俺がやるからよ。だから。
Alright. Next one is mine then, okay?
しっかり。おっ
So just try to pull yourself together. Earthquake.
あ、また地震か。
God damn it, not again.
だ、これ、でかいぞ。
This one's big too. Oh. Who's that? Is there like a dark presence just gonna be lurking around the school now that we have to run away from? I hope to God not.
気を失ってたのか。
Was I knocked out?
どこだここは。
Where am I? Looks clean. Wait, are we back?
俺らの教室か。
Is this our classroom?
マジかよ。
No fooling? Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about what happened to the show. They did end up coming back.
篠崎、
Shinozaki,
しっかりしろよ。
hey, wake up.
息はしてるな。
She's breathing at least.
篠崎、おい、起きろよ。
Shinozaki, come on, wake up already. Kishinuma?
見てみろよ、周り。俺も信じらんねえんだけど。
Take a look around you. I can hardly believe it myself, but here we are. No way. We're back? For real? Is this really our school?
マジだよ。ほら、俺の机だ。
It's really real. Check it out. Here's my desk. Mine too. It's right here. I can't believe it. Man, I cannot imagine the euphoria they're feeling right now at this very moment. Just going through hell and just all of a sudden back. I feel it, and I wasn't even there.
ってことは
It's true. Yeah, we made it. We're home. We're home.
さあ、ざまみろ、くそ。
I think that's something I'd say. Fuck yeah! Suck on that, world! He's gonna go insane, is he? Our friends are all dead, aren't they?
サトシやユイ先生たちは帰ってきてねえのか。
We have yet to see Ms. Yue in a long time. Guess there's no Satoshi or Miss Yui or anyone else, huh? The shelves are filled with personal effects belonging to the Class 2-9 primary and assistant homeroom teachers.
自分家の猫用の缶詰置いとくのは
Ms. Yui even has some cans of cat food in here.
どう考えても公私混同だよ
I'm not sure that's the sort of thing she should be storing in the classroom, though. We're collecting to buy a bouquet of flowers for our dear friend Suzume, who will be leaving us for a new school after this festival. 300 yen per person. Contact Ayami Shinozaki for payment. The needle on the clock in the hall is pointing to 8, and there's not a soul in sight. Man. You really do kind of just forget that, like, everyone died. Or not everyone, sorry. That, like, the person that they were celebrating, or not celebrating, like saying goodbye to and throwing a party for, is dead.
もう帰ってこられないかと思ってた。
I never thought I'd live to see home again. Is that all you got to say?
サトシやユイ先生たちは
I already said that.
サトシや
もう
Does he have nothing else to say? Venturing out in search of others, you find that even the janitor has likely gone home. The lights are out, and the halls are pitch black. Only the red glow of the light next to the fire extinguisher offers any respite from the quiet darkness of the school hallway.
8時を過ぎて真っ暗な校舎の中に居残ることになるとはな。現実感ねえな。
Standing around the darkened corridors of her school building at 8 o'clock in the evening just feels so surreal. As the thunder and rain grow in intensity, the windows begin to condensate with moisture, turning white in contrast to the corridor's sea of black.
これ現実か？
Is this reality?
さっきまでのは夢だったんじゃないか。
Is everything up until now just a dream?
どこで何やってんだろう俺。
Where am I right now? What am I doing?
どうした篠崎？
Shiozaki, what's wrong? What the fuck?
なんだこりゃ。
What the hell is this?
終わってないの？
It's not over, is it?
まだ終わってないの？
Why isn't it over? Why? Damn it.
お前は
It's you.
誰？
Don't go back. Don't come any closer.
ちょうどこんな雨の日放課後のことでした。
It was a rainy evening after school. Just like this one.
私が誘拐されたあの日、
On the day I was kidnapped.
朝、私はお母さんと喧嘩をしてしまいました。
I remember I had a fight with my mom that morning.
何を言ってるの？
Why is she telling us this?
わかんねえよ。
I have no idea.
お母さんと顔を合わせるのが嫌で、
I didn't want to see her face.
学校の後、私は家へ帰らずに
So after school, I decided that instead of going home,
ぼーっと渡り廊下にしゃがんで雨を眺めていました。
I'd park myself in the outdoor walkway for a little and watch the rain.
そうしたら、私の隣に吉和先生が座って、
That's when Mr. Yoshikazu showed up. He sat down next to me.
私の話を聞いてくれたのです。
I told him all about my fight with Mom, and he listened really closely and just kept saying, uh-huh, uh-huh.
先生、言葉を話せない病気だったけれど、心は優しい人だったから。
I don't know about that. He was sick and couldn't speak much, you see. But he was a very kind man.
私は好きでした。
I really liked him.
けれど
But then,
お兄さんお姉さん
you two were nice people.
ごめんなさい
I'm so sorry.
あなたは5年生の
She's so tiny. She must be 5th grader?
かのゆきちゃんの
Yuki Kano, right?
さっきはありがとうございます
Thank you for what you did back there.
殺された私たちを成仏させようとしてくれて
For making the effort to help those of us who were killed in that school.
結局成仏はできたのか。
Didn't
なん
we
でお前まだいるんだよ。
didn't we succeed though? So why are you still here?
いいえできてません
No, you didn't.
あなたたちから言葉を奪った抜き取られた舌は返したし
But we returned your tongues. We gave you back your ability to speak out.
あなたたちにひどいことをした犯人には懺悔させたけどや
And we even got your murderer to repent for what he did.
っぱり許せない
Is it just that you can't forgive him? No matter what?
私たちの成仏に許す許さないというそれぞれの意思は関係ないんです
Appeasing us isn't about forgiveness. It doesn't matter if we forgive or not.
懺悔とは犯人と被害者との間に存在してそれ単体で私たち被害者の霊を動かすものです
Repentance is between the criminal and the victim. It's the sole act of capable of moving us.
私たちが天神小学校を異空間に閉じ込めている霊場の断片だから私たちを動かすという方法は正しいと思います
And we exist as fragments of the sacred gown upon which heavenly hosts is sealed. I believe that moving us is your best course of action.
だけど足りていないんです
Definitely didn't sound like it.
懺悔が
With the way he was describing Mayu's guts. But it's not enough. His repentance just wasn't enough.
あいつの文化人形が喋った言葉では足りないってこと
So you're saying his words, the words spoken by the doll, weren't good enough to appease you?
あれはつ
That's not...
で
So
な
what
んだって
then?
無関係の人間を何人も何人も閉じ込めてるんだ。
Why do you feel the need to trap one innocent stranger after another in that godforsaken place?
俺たちをあそこに呼び寄せたのはお前ら子供の幽霊たちだろ。
You child spirits are the one who summoned us there, aren't you? I don't think they were.
それは違います
That's not true.
だと
The hell did you mean by that?
私たちは異空間をつなぎ止める歯車に過ぎなくて
We're just the cogs that hold the closed spaces together.
鈴本を殺したじゃねえかよ。
You killed Suzumoto, didn't you?
え
Wait,
もう少し聞こう
let's hear her out.
お姉さんたちだけでも無事に遅れてよかったです
I'm just glad I was able to get even the two of you back to safety.
なんで急に俺たちを気遣うような言い方すんだよ。
Why the hell are you so concerned about us? I messed up again suddenly so badly.
お姉ちゃんに聞いたことがある
I heard about a situation like this from my sister once.
強い未練を残したまま
暴力的に命を搾取された玲子を
A lost soul whose life was ended violently and abruptly, leaving her with a mountain of worries and regrets.
普通の人でいうところの錯乱に近い状態でとどまってしまうって
It's kind of like stopping short at the edge of madness.
いろんな感情や思いがごちゃ混ぜになってしまっているから
With all sorts of thoughts and feelings swirling around in your head.
本来の優しい心と聖者への妬みや敵意の気持ちとをコントロールできずに感情がくるくる変わるって
Your kindly nature and your sudden hatred and panic begin to spin around and around, and you just start acting out without any sort of control.
お前の姉さんって霊能師の
Your sister's some kind of medium or something?
ちょっと違うけど
Yeah, something like that.
どっちもこいつの本音ってわけか
So what you're saying is, this little girl and the creepy little girl we met before are two sides of the same coin?
だったらお願い他の生きてるみんなも
I feel for you, I really do. So please, please, bring the rest of them back.
持田君や先生たちも連れてきてあげて
Mochida, Miss Yui, and everyone else too. Bring them all back home.
ねえできるんでしょ
Come on, you can do it, right?
もうそれは無理だと思います
I don't think that's possible anymore.
どうして
Why not?
あの空間はたくさんの無関係な命を食べ過ぎました
Those close spaces have eaten a lot of innocent souls. Far too many, in fact.
あそこで死んだ人たちの恨みの念がもう満員だから
The grudges of those who died there have filled every last corner of them. There's no room left. I imagine one of those spaces being that bathroom filled with hanging bodies.
希望をなくした悲しい思いたちの影響で
and,
全
be-
ての霊が
and because the agony and pain has nowhere else to go,
わずかに残った理性を失い始めています
it's begun feeding on the minds of souls like us who are bound there.
私だってもうすぐまた
It won't be long.
生きている人をただ無差別に襲うだけの怨霊になってしまいます
Before I turn back into a vengeful spirit who attacks people like you without mercy.
あなたも味方してくれなくなるのね
So, we're going to lose you as an ally then?
だったらなおさら急がなきゃ
So why don't you just hurry up and bring them home right now?
何か内田君たちを助ける方法はないの
Isn't there any way for us to save Mochi and the others?
一つだけあります
There may be one way.
どうするんだよ
What is it?
お兄さんも知っている方法です
Mm-hmm.
あの場所へ戻って
I think you already know. You have to return to the closed spaces.
私たち天神小学校の児童4名誘拐殺害事件被害者の
Find all 4 of us Heavenly Host serial kidnapping and murder victims.
みんなを成仏させてくれれば歯車を失った異空間に大きな歪みが生まれます
And put us all to rest. Then the closed spaces won't have their cogs anymore, so they'll begin to fall apart.
そうすればもしかしたら
And you just might get your friends back.
あそこへまた戻るのかよ
You expect us to go back?
それにせっかく残りあと一人だと思ってたのにそんなつもりのお前ら3人も成仏してなかったしよ
And this time, instead of just having one person left to appease, we have to go back to the drawing board and appease all 4 of you?
どうしてさっき口ごもったの成仏できなかった理由
Why couldn't you tell us the reason our previous efforts weren't good enough? What is there to hide?
それは
It's just
思い出したくないんです。でも
something I don't want to remember. But
どうしても知りたいのなら教えます。あの時のこと。
if you really want to know, I'll tell you. I'll tell you everything that happened. Yuki's spirit gently took hold of Ayuna's hand. In an instant, their two beings seemed to merge together into a single mind. Oh boy. I know what's coming. Huh? What's going?
しのぎ。
痛いあ
It hurts. It hurts. Here we go. I think I'm gonna end this episode on this part right here.
あれ
Here we go.
どうなったの？私
You know, I'm doing this like this, but I am not looking forward to this because I'm gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna put a warning up here real quickly. You've been warned. What happened to me?
気絶したはずなのに意識がある。
Didn't I pass out? So why am I fully aware right now?
真っ暗だし体が動かない。
I can't see a thing. And I can't move. Bro, my heart is beating so fast.
なんか疲れた時になる金縛りみたい。
It's like that feeling you get when you're really tired. Sleep paralysis, I think. You get sleep paralysis when you're really tired? I didn't know that.
体が動かない。
Why can't I move?
犯行現場で唯一生き残った赤いワンピースの女児
Okay.
篠崎幸子。
Sachiko Shinozaki, the little girl in the red dress, and the only survivor of the horrific murders that occurred in Heavenly Host Elementary School.
幸子の家族は事件後怯えるように他県へ移っていったとされている。
Following the incident, Sachiko's family fled from the area, moving to another prefecture to escape the frightful memories that remained here.
驚いたことにこの篠崎家についての記述はこの事柄以外
Strangely, however, I've been unable to locate any other records of the Shinozaki family.
当時の書類や文献のどこを見ても何を見ても見当たらない。
No matter where I look, the only information I can find about them comes from newspaper reports on the Heavenly Host murders.
惨劇の舞台となった学校や現役校長の嫡男による凄惨な犯行。
Granted, when an elementary school becomes the stage for a grisly incident such as this, perpetrated by none other than the principal's own son,
そのスキャンダラスな背景の取材に目がくらみ
it stands to reason that the scandal would serve as a primary focus for public interest, with all other details fading into the background.
この小さな生存者の聴取がおろそかになったのではと予想したがそうではなかった。
So of course, after learning that Sachiko was safe, further news of her whereabouts was largely ignored in favor of the media circus surrounding the school.
誰も幸子のその後をたどることができなかったのだ。
But there's more to it than that. People weren't just uninterested in learning of Sachiko's history or whereabouts. There was simply no data to be had. I don't want to go back here.
金縛りにあったみたいに動かせないけど
I can't move my body because of sleep paralysis, I guess.
部屋の光景が見える。
But I can clearly see the room I'm in now.
私の他に男の子が1人女の子が2人。
There's one boy and two girls in here, aside from myself. I also don't like that it's in like an actual animated drawing.
顔に見覚えがある。
I recognize them.
みんなあの犯人に殺された天神症の子供たちだ。まだ生きてる。
They're the children who were killed in Heavenly Host during that incident. But they're still alive. Not about to be.
私を含めみんな手足を縛られて床に転がされている。
Unfortunately, they're all bound hand in hand and just sprawled out on the floor. And so am I. Hand and foot.
だから私も体が動かないのかしら。
That's the real reason I can't move. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. What happened to him? I think the guy said it was a disease. I can't see.
目隠しをされ何も見えない。
Now I'm blindfolded. I can't see a thing that's happened to me.
手足も縛られてるから目隠しを取ることもできない。
And since my hands and feet are tied up, I can't remove the blindfold either.
こうしていると
Probably for the best.
余計に倍増する。
And that just makes everything so much worse.
耳がどんどん敏感になる。
I guess because I can't see, I begin to listen more intently. That doesn't help.
周りの子たちのおえつの声が狭い部屋に反響して私も恐怖で頭が割れそうになる。
The helpless cries of the other children echo off the walls of the cramped room. I'm so scared it feels my head's going to explode. Bro, my chest is about to burst open. Like, oh, I know it's coming, but it's just building up and building up.
何するのよ。どうして目隠しなんか。
What are you doing to me? Why am I blindfolded?
ねえ離して。もう足ほどいてよ。
Untie me. Cut the ropes. I want to be able to use my hands and feet, please.
何度も叫んだけど男は私から離れていった。
I kept begging and pleading, but all I heard in response was a man walking away from me.
You... Mom...
An order?
順番って何？
That's what I asked.
人間の声とは思えない凄まじい音波のような叫び声。端っこにいた男の子だ。
Bro, I'm actually starting to tear up. First of all, give that voice actor a raise, and second of all, don't do that ever again. I've never heard screaming like this before. It's pure primal terror, cutting through the air like a perfect sine wave. It's the boy at the end.
それが延々と続く。今まさに殺されてるんだ。
It feels like he's been screaming for an eternity. I think he's being killed right now. What the hell is he doing to him?
こんな残酷な目に遭ってるのに
No one deserves this.
なぜせめて早く神様は意識を奪ってあげないの
Why isn't God allowing him to fall unconscious so he doesn't have to suffer? What is he doing to him? Is this the dude that had his head cut off?
何十分経っただろうか
He's been wailing on him for half an hour? It's been at least half an hour now.
何度も何度も繰り返し絞り出された男の子の叫び声は
Those inhuman screams of a young boy being ripped apart from the inside
とうとう聞こえなくなった
have finally come to a halt. No. No, no, no.
間髪入れずに女の子の悲鳴が上がるこれももはや音だった
Without even a moment of silence, the first of the girls in line is the next to scream for her life. And the symphony goes on. This is not a fucking music note, Ayumi. I'm getting dizzy. Holy shit, the words are actually getting blurred. Like, my vision is like blurring the words. Like, I'm actually getting really dizzy. Oh.
ダメだ気が狂う私のやめてやめろやめろやめろ
God, I can't take any more of this. I'm losing my mind. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
まだ終わらない早く
Jesus. Is it still going on? Come on, just die already. I can't even disagree with her. If you're in this situation, I'm just like, just die already. Because I don't want to listen to that, and I just don't want you to suffer.
早く私は何を望んでるんだろう
Die already? God, what is wrong with me?
わからないけどとにかく早く楽にしてあげて
You know what? I don't care. Just get it over with and leave me in peace.
やがてゴンと何か重いものが落ちる音がして静かになった
Dear God. She's blindfolded and I'm having a hard time. Every time I hear something, I just close my eyes instinctively. I know it's blindfolded, but I just can't. Finally, after hearing a sound like a heavy object being dropped, the noises stopped, and the room grew quiet again. In a way, this is worse than the show.
大きくなる足音
Like, the show showed all of it, but this is worse. Because all you hear is what's happening, and your mind just does it for you. Those footsteps are getting
つ
closer.
わりと全身の毛が逆立つ
All my hair's standing on end at this point.
胃から下に氷を詰められたような一瞬にして下痢になったような丘
Everything below my stomach feels like it's frozen. Like I've suddenly been stricken with severe diarrhea.
順番私は何を安心しているんだろう隣の子が死んだら次は
In order. God, why am I relieved by this silence? The kid next to me just died,
私の番じゃない
which means it's my turn now.
髪の毛をつかまれ頭をグイッと持ち上げられる
Someone's got me by the hair. They're pulling my head up.
同時に目隠しを取られると犯人の顔が
You're not gonna see the face of the killer.
正面に
and taking off my blindfold, which means I get to see the face of the killer. Not exactly.
天神小学校の開校当初から閉鎖されていた地下室で行方不明だった児童たちの
The four missing children were found in a basement room at Heavenly Host Elementary School, unused and officially sealed since the building's construction.
亡骸が発見された時の現場はまさに賛美極まる凄惨な光景だった。
When authorities entered, they were greeted with an inhumanely horrific sight.
鑑識の調査の結果、凶器は逮捕時に犯人が手にしていた大きな断ち切りバサミと断定。
Based upon the evidence at hand, the murder weapon was determined to be a pair of large sewing scissors found in the hands of the accused.
躊躇があったのか、男のものにしては軽めの力で、しかし執拗に。
Investigators suspected that some hesitation on the man's part, however, as the deceased victim's wounds did not indicate that his full strength had been used.
殺意を持って犯行に及んだことは確実であった。
Nonetheless, he had clearly acted with extreme malicious intent.
公式発表では、児童たちの死因は舌を切り取られたことによる失血死とされていたが、
The official cause of death for the three murdered children has been listed as loss of blood following removal of the tongue. It did not sound like a loss of... Bro, it sounded like the dude was bashing their head in.
実際にはもっとむごたらしい凶行が行われていた。
But the actual state of affairs was not quite so clinical, or even so pleasant, if you can believe it.
以下は規制によりメディアで報道されていない殺害の手口である。
The following details have been extrapolated from information previously unreleased to the public, or at least previously unreported by news outlets. Is that why all the descriptions of the deceased kids are like that? Because it's like
現
blanked
場で
out?
惨劇を目撃した幸子の証言に基づいている。
Like SCP? These details of the crime are based on the official police testimony of Sachiko Shinozaki herself.
手足を縛られ、目隠しをされた被害者たちは一人ずつ距離を置いて寝かされ、
Evidently, the victims were bound, blindfolded, and spaced out on the floor,
順番に殺されていった。
then killed, one by one.
一人はハサミで腹部をめった刺しにされた上に臓器を抜き取り、
Oh
ショックし
God! Now we're actually being told what happened. One was repeatedly stabbed in the abdomen with the aforementioned pair of scissors, then had many of his internal organs forcefully dug out.
臓器は地下室の土床に粗雑に埋められた。
His discarded innards were found partially buried beneath the earthen floor of the basement room. God, this sounds like what happened to Utsui and Pupa. Remember, like, he was, like, sprawled. I don't know if you're gonna know what I'm talking about, but, like, this dude was, like, sprawled on the table with, like, all these, like, quote-unquote surgeons. And, like, he has an ability where he can just regenerate any lost limbs or pretty much anything. And they just kept cutting out more and more of his organs and just kept taking him out more and more and more while he was still awake and alive and feeling everything. Ugh.
一人はハサミで数十回にもわたって頬を刺され、口から上の顎部がちぎれ死亡。
Another was stabbed in the head dozens upon dozens of times, to such an extent that all flesh and bone above her jawline was essentially minced away. Above her bone and jawline, it's like
目隠しを
here?
剥ぎ取られ、私の目の前にさらされた光景は想像を絶していた。
When the blindfold was removed, the sight that appeared before me was more horrific than anything I could have possibly have imagined.
血まみれの大きなハサミを手に私を見下ろしていたのはさっ
Here we
き
go.
の大男ではなく
The person staring back at me, brandishing a blood-soaked pair of sewing scissors, wasn't the large man from earlier at all.
捕らえられていた子供たちの一人。
It was one of the children.
帰り地で顔が真っ赤に染まった
There
小
she
さな女の子だっ
is.
た。
It was a little girl. Her face dyed red with the blood of her victims.
正気のない灰色の目でじっと私の目を見据え
Is she gonna do the smile?
ついで彼女は
Also, is that why her dress is completely red because it's blood? She was staring intently at me with soulless gray eyes. And then...
ケタケタと笑い出した。
Yes! She just started giggling. There's something about scissors. Oh my god. It just keeps going. So that man was afraid. You know, I'm surprised that there's never been anything out there horror related that doesn't use scissors. Cause like the sound design is terrifying.
ハサミが不快な音を立て、せわしなく開閉を繰り返す。
She was opening and closing the bloodied scissors over and over again. And the sound kept echoing through the room. Imagine you're in a dark room and you just hear that. Just in the distance somewhere.
その錆びてボロボロになった血まみれの切っ先は
Then she took those dull, rusty, thoroughly blood-soaked blades.
ずっと私の目に向けられた。
And slowly brought them closer and closer to my left eye.
そんな、なんで、どうしてあなたが
Why is it you? Just get it over with. Just get it over with. Just get it over with. Oh my god, stop. Stop.
いや、
一人はハサミで眼球を何度も刺された上に
The third victim was stabbed in the left eye an indeterminate number of times.
スープのように潰れた目玉をえぐり出され苦しみ抜いた末に出血死に至る
Oh my god. Until her eyeball became soup-like in consistency. She was eventually just left like that, slowly bleeding to death in a horrible agony. She didn't... Man, the ghost that had that happen to her when Yuka ran into her, she didn't do that. She just dug it into her skull, into her brain. Man, Sachiko didn't even do that. He just... Oh, no.
その後なぜか犯人は3人の遺体から舌をハサミで切断している
Strangely, it was only after these mutilations had already been inflicted that the killer went back and severed the victim's tongues.
執筆している私も胸の悪くなるまさに悪魔の所業である
Learning the truth about these proceedings is shocking even to me. It makes it nearly impossible to accept the murder as anything but a monster.
児童3人が惨殺される中唯一生き残った少女幸子
And bearing
保護され
witness,
た後
and bearing witness to every moment of this was a 7-year-old girl named Sachiko. In many ways, she was the most pitiable and long-suffering out of them.
泣きじゃくる彼女の証言から追及が進み吉和は送検された
But it was through her tearful, frightened testimony that Yoshikazu Yanagihori was officially
言
charged.
い換えるなら彼を犯人確定に追い込んだ張本人である彼女には
And going back to the hunt for information on this unfortunate girl's whereabouts, it was her words that ultimately led to Yoshikazu's sentencing.
自宅の所在も家族構成も一切の記録が残っていない
Therefore, it comes as no real surprise that sensitive information pertaining to her and her family would be withheld. That's to be expected.
というよりはっきり言えば存在していた痕跡が全くないのだ
What's not expected, however, is that there's not even the slightest trace of this information left to find. It's as if it simply never existed.
ここからは仮説になる果たしてこれは本当に
Therefore, I cannot help but consider alternate possible explanations. And I remind you, This is mere conjecture.
義和の犯行なのか。
But one question keeps nagging at the back of my mind. Was Yoshikazu Yanagihori really the murderer of the 3 victims?
児童たちを殺害したのは本当に義和なのか。
Is it possible this crime was not actually perpetrated by him at all?
後期の義和は言葉による他人とのコンタクトは不自由だったとはいえ、
Think about it. In his final days, Yoshikazu was incapable of communicating with others through
基
speech.
本的にはおとなしく他人に危害を加えるような性質ではなかった。
And despite his childlike reversion, he'd always been a personable and He'd always been a personable and friendly man. As the saying goes, he wouldn't have hurt a fly.
これは彼を取り巻いていた親戚や付近住民の証言も聞くことができたので確実だ。
All his relatives, friends, and neighbors confirmed as much, shocked to hear that such a kindly man could commit these unconscionable atrocities.
突然このような強行に走る道理がないのである。
He certainly had no motive for the crime either. There was nothing for him to gain from it.
一方、それまで健康であった義和の父親。
Then again, he may simply have lost his mind. Look at his father.
柳堀校長が突然奇怪な言動や行動を取り始めたのもこの時期だ。
It was around the same time that Principal Takamine Yanagihori suddenly began speaking in tongues and acting in a most peculiar way.
何かに取りつかれたように屋敷の壁一面に意味不明の漢字の羅列を書き殴ったり、
Not to mention scribbling incomprehensible gibberish all over his walls, as if possessed.
何者かに怯えるように部屋の隅にこもり大声でわめいたり暴れたり。
He seemed frightened of someone and would often be found crouching in the corner of his office, moaning and thrashing when visitors came
こ
by.
ちらも相当な事態になっていた。
If he could wind up in such a beleaguered state with no warning, then perhaps so too could his son.
そこに私は人知を超えた力の動き、巨大なる呪詛の側面を見ている。
I believe that we're looking at a curse far more powerful than anything man could devise.
開校当初より閉鎖されていた
From the time it opened its doors to the day it closed them forever.
天神小学校の地下室に関する何か大きな呪いの存在。
Heavenly Host's Elementary School's sealed basement room has existed as some form of cursed ground.
この連続児童誘拐殺害事件より
And to find the underlying cause, we must go back beyond the infamous kidnapping and murder incident.
さらに遡ること20年。
Back a whole 20 years.
おぼろげながら真相を知る手がかりを私は見つけたように思える。
I believe I may have found a clue that could shed some light on the situation. It may be a bit far-fetched as its leads go, but it's a lead nonetheless.
廃校になった後、取り壊されて別の学校が建っている現在では、
Regrettably, since Heavenly Host was not only closed down but demolished altogether, and another school built in its place,
失われた天神小学校の地下室を調べることは不可能だが、
it's no longer possible to investigate the basement room directly.
私の助手が興味深い方法を見つけてきてくれた。
But my protege has found what may be the next best thing.
不可能が可能となるかもしれない。これよりその準備に出かける。
Something that can make the impossible possible once more. Preparations are being made to pursue this lead even now.
詳しくは次回の連載にてお伝えしたいと思う。楽しみにお待ちいただきたい。
Be sure not to miss the next installment. It may be the scoop of a lifetime. Ko Kibiki. What's the 7th? No. July? Yeah. July 22nd, 2003. That was a lot. Oh, thank God it's over. Oh, man. You know, I'm so glad that we didn't have to hear the stabbing of the eye again, because when it happened to Yuka, that was like the most disgusting thing I've ever heard in a video game. Oh man, I am so glad that part's over. That was even worse than the show, because I couldn't see it happening. Like, my mind made it worse. Man. But man, that was no, none of that. I gotta find a way to keep the fucking intro from playing. Let's just click that. There we go. Man, that was a lot of information dumped from that fucking investigator. So, yeah, there you go. The real murderer is not Yorishige Tanagihori. It is Sachiko. And there we go. We saw the iconic smile and giggle and the snip of the scissors. I've been waiting for that. Like, I knew it was gonna happen, but like, I didn't know how it would happen until like events started happening. It started clicking in my brain. The second that Ghost converged with Ayumi, I was just like, oh no. I immediately remembered all the horrible shit that had. Man, I'm glad that's over. That was a great chapter though. It got a little bit like very dialogue heavy towards the end with the investigator, but at least it was interesting. It kept me engaged, and I was interested in what it had to say. We finally got descriptions of how the murders happened, which again, I kept questioning, like, why is it all blurred out in all the articles and stuff throughout the school? Why is it blurred out? Now I know, because it was done in an SCP style, just straight up blacked out information. It was done on purpose. And here I was thinking it was like a censorship thing. Nope. Because like, when you think about it, why would you censor anything in Quartz Party? It's literally brutal as hell. Anyways, that was a great episode. That was a phenomenal chapter. And I'm interested because apparently there's more history about this building beyond 20 years, but it's in the basement. And there's a locked door in the basement. That's the one room we haven't been in yet. That's the only room we have not discovered yet. So I'm very excited to see what happens. Hopefully I can get everyone out alive, because I imagine if all goes the way it's supposed to go, Yoshiki, I think that's his name, and Ayumi are both gonna head back into the closed space, and we're gonna try and save everyone. Mochida is still with Naomi, I believe, and Yuka is still with that dude. That's the big problem. And then we still got Morishige, but he's showing bits of, like, about to just straight up jump at someone, but he hasn't done that yet. He almost did it with Yuka, but I'm getting worried. But yeah, we'll see what happens in the next episode. This is gonna be a long episode. Hopefully I can make it sound appealing with the title and stuff, because like there's so much shit in this episode, and of course I gotta delete some stuff because a lot of it was me walking around and messing up towards the middle, but then at the beginning of the end there's a lot of cool shit in there. But yeah, anyways, that's gonna do it for me. I am tired. I think it's like 4 a.m. right now. Oh my god, it's 4:30 in the morning. I started this around 2. Man. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and if you did, leave a like down below, and be sure to subscribe. 4 away from 100, by the way. I forgot to mention that. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
I was never really one to believe in spirits. In all honesty, you could even call me a doubter. It was a dark and stormy night. Pretty cliche for horror, am I right? That's just what it was. Dark and stormy. Lightning, flashing as bright as the sun, blinding me from all my surroundings. Only for a brief moment, but just enough for me to stumble. Thunder. Loud as if God himself was clapping, roaring, hurt my ears for a brief moment, but only for a moment. The rain fell like hot nails, piercing at my skin. The rain was very loud, all sound completely mute. The only thing audible through the violent rain was the sound of the thunder, followed by violent strikes of lightning. As I made my way to the cabin, I could swear in between the strikes of lightning and the roaring thunder, I could hear a girl screaming at the top of her lungs. I made my way into the forest, trying to find the source of the screams. And that's when I found her. A girl with long black hair and a red dress. A pair of bloodied scissors in her hands. And right behind her, a pile of corpses. And right beside her was a girl, screaming, begging for help. The girl in the red dress had her by the hair, the scissors wrapped around her tongue, and with one snip, her tongue was cut off. Blood poured out of her mouth, as well as fell deep into her throat, causing her to choke. Unable to scream, she tried gasping for air, but the girl in the dress just held her up, keeping her from being able to do anything. Her arms wrapped behind her back in one hand, and her hair gripped tightly in the other. She watched as she sputtered, coughed, trying to get all the blood out of her mouth, but it just continued to pour. After several minutes of struggling, the girl's eyes slowly rolled back, and she fell, limp, dead. And then the girl in the red dress noticed me. We locked eyes. The smile on her face was so unnatural, so chilling. I thought I would end up ripping her cheeks apart, that white grin, and her eyes so wide. I thought for certain blood would start pouring out of her eyelids. And then, with a flash of lightning,